Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to be here today and talk about something that's super close to my heart. When you focus on yourself, everything falls into place. You know, in today's world, we're constantly surrounded by distractions. What others are doing, what people think, what trends are going viral. But here's the truth I've learned from my journey, both on screen and off screen. You know, one of the biggest lessons I've learned, not just as an actor or content creator, but as a young woman growing up in the public eye, is that real growth, lasting change, and true happiness don't start from the outside. They begin with you. It's so easy to get caught up in what everyone else is doing. We live in a world where comparison is just a scroll away. You open Instagram and you see someone achieving something you've been dreaming of. You go on YouTube and watch someone living your dream life, traveling the world, buying their first car, or hitting 1 million followers. And suddenly, instead of feeling inspired, you feel behind. You start questioning yourself. Am I doing enough? Why am I not there yet? What am I doing wrong? I've been there too. I've felt that pressure of being perfect, of always staying ahead, of proving myself constantly, especially in a field like acting, where you're always being watched, judged, and compared. It's easy to lose yourself in expectations. But something shifted in me when I realized that none of that noise matters unless I matter first. Unless I'm okay with who I am, where I'm going, and how I'm growing, no amount of outside validation can truly satisfy me. Growth isn't loud. It doesn't always look like big milestones or flashy success. Sometimes growth is quiet. It's waking up and deciding to believe in yourself again, even when you've had a rough week. It's saying no to things that drain your energy, and yes to things that bring you peace, even if they don't look impressive to others. It's choosing your own pace instead of running someone else's race. There was a time when I thought being successful meant always being busy, always having a new project, always proving something. But then I realized success without peace is just noise. I had to start asking myself, am I growing, or am I just going through the motions? That's when I began to shift my mindset. I started journaling, reading, and spending more time understanding who I really am outside of the spotlight. I began setting personal goals, not based on what people expect of me, but based on what I wanted for my life. And that made all the difference. Focusing on your own growth also means learning to be kind to yourself. We are so quick to show love to others, to hype up our friends, to encourage people online. But when it comes to ourselves, we become our harshest critics. We notice every flaw, every mistake, every delay. But growth doesn't thrive in judgment. It thrives in love. If you wouldn't say it to your best friend, don't say it to yourself. Be patient. Be gentle. Water your own roots before you try to bloom. One of the most powerful things you can do is take responsibility for your life. That doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong, but it does mean owning your power. You can't control what others say or do. You can't control timing or luck or even outcomes sometimes, but you can control your effort, your attitude, and your mindset. And when you start investing in you, mentally, emotionally, physically, that's when you begin to level up. I always say your energy is your currency. Where you invest it matters. Are you spending your days worrying about others' opinions, or are you pouring that same energy into your dreams, your healing, your growth? Are you letting fear hold you back, or are you choosing to show up anyway, even if it's messy, even if it's slow? Another thing I've learned is that growth is not a destination. It's a lifestyle. There's no final version of you that has everything figured out. We're always evolving, always learning, always becoming, and that's a beautiful thing. You don't have to wait to be ready or perfect to start working on yourself. Just begin, right where you are, with what you have, and it's okay to outgrow things too. Outgrowing people, habits, or environments doesn't mean you're selfish. It means you're growing. It means you're becoming more aligned with who you really are. Don't shrink yourself to fit into places that no longer support your vision. The right people, the right opportunities, They'll meet you where you're headed, not where you've been. Sometimes, focusing on yourself means stepping away from the noise. Taking a break from social media, saying no to events that don't excite you, spending time alone, not because you're lonely, but because you're reconnecting with yourself. That silence, that stillness. That's where the magic happens. That's where you hear your own voice again, and not just the voices of the world. When you focus on yourself, you stop chasing and start attracting. You stop living for applause and start living for purpose. The confidence that comes from knowing who you are and where you're going, that can't be shaken. And suddenly, the things you used to worry about, what others think, how fast you're moving, what you're missing, start to matter less. Because you know you're on your own path, and that path is unfolding exactly the way it should. So if you're in a season of self-growth right now, if you're working on yourself, healing, building, creating, dreaming, know this, you're doing something powerful. You're investing in the one thing that will never lose value, you. And when you do that consistently, when you choose yourself over and over again, everything around you begins to align. Opportunities come. The right people show up. Your vision gets clearer. Your energy gets stronger. Because when you focus on yourself, everything truly does fall into place. There's something really powerful about the energy we carry, even when we don't realize it. Most of us think attraction is about looks, success, or having the perfect social media profile. But in reality, it goes so much deeper than that. The energy you give off, your vibe, your mindset, your inner peace, that's what truly attracts the people, opportunities, and experiences into your life. And that energy starts with how you feel on the inside. When you feel good, you radiate a kind of confidence that can't be faked. It's not loud or showy. It's just there. People can sense it. You walk into a room, and suddenly you don't have to do much to be noticed. That calm glow, that lightness in your spirit, speaks louder than words. You're not trying too hard. You're just being. That's the kind of energy that draws the right things to you. And the truth is, that feeling doesn't come from chasing validation or trying to fit in. It comes from doing the inner work, from choosing peace, from choosing you. There was a point in my life when I was constantly looking for approval, from friends, from social media, from people in the industry. I thought that if enough people clapped for me, if enough followers liked my posts, I'd finally feel good enough. But it never worked that way. It felt like I was constantly chasing a moving target. I'd achieve something and feel proud for a moment, but then I'd start stressing about what's next, who's doing better, and whether I'm falling behind. Eventually, I realized I was putting my worth in things I couldn't control. And that's exhausting. You burn out, you start to feel anxious and drained. That's when I knew something had to shift. I had to go inward and ask myself, what actually makes me feel good? Not what looks good to others. Not what earns me praise, but what makes me feel genuinely happy, centered, and alive, and that's where it all started. I began to focus on my mental and emotional health. I started prioritizing rest, eating better, moving my body, surrounding myself with positive people, and creating content that aligned with my heart, not just trends. Slowly, I noticed something amazing. I didn't need to force things anymore. Opportunities started flowing in. The right people began to show up. My ideas felt more inspired. It's like the universe began matching my energy. And I truly believe it's because I was finally taking care of myself, not just on the outside, but deep within. When you feel better, you think clearer, you stop making decisions out of fear or insecurity, you start choosing from a place of self-worth. You don't settle for friendships that drain you or situations that make you feel small. You begin attracting what aligns with your higher self, not your anxious self. That shift is everything. It's not about being happy 24/7. That's not realistic. We're human. We have off days. We feel low sometimes. And that's okay. But feeling better starts with awareness. It's about knowing when something or someone isn't serving your peace, and having the courage to choose differently. It's about building habits that lift your energy, even on hard days. Maybe that means journaling every morning, taking a walk without your phone, listening to music that lights up your soul, or simply saying no to things that don't feel right anymore. There's a quiet strength in choosing yourself over and over again, even when it's uncomfortable. That strength creates a kind of magnetic energy, because when you know your worth, you don't chase, you attract. You attract people who respect your boundaries. You attract opportunities that are meant for you, not just ones that look good on paper. You attract peace, joy, and abundance, not because you're lucky, but because you've become a safe place for those things to land. I think a lot of people wait until they make it to feel good about themselves. But the truth is, the feeling has to come first. When you feel worthy, you take different actions. You treat yourself with more kindness. You stop comparing so much. You give yourself space to grow at your own pace. And you start to glow in a way that has nothing to do with filters or achievements. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who wasn't conventionally perfect or super put together, but there was just something about them? Something warm, magnetic, grounded. That's the energy of someone who feels good in their own skin. Someone who is present, grateful, and living with intention. That's what we're all drawn to, not perfection, but authenticity. The more you prioritize feeling better, the more your world starts to shift. You begin to see things differently. What used to stress you out doesn't bother you as much. You stop reacting to every little thing. You become more patient with your process, and that energy becomes a quiet invitation for everything meant for you to come closer. And let's be real, life isn't always smooth. There will be setbacks, heartbreaks, moments of doubt. But even in those seasons, you can still choose to take care of yourself. You can still choose growth over guilt, reflection over regret, and faith over fear. You can still say, I may not have it all figured out, but I deserve to feel good as I figure it out. The beautiful part is that this kind of work, this inner healing and alignment, lasts. It doesn't fade when trends change. It doesn't disappear when people's opinions shift. It stays with you. It becomes your foundation. And that's the most powerful kind of attraction there is. So if you're ever wondering why things feel stuck, or why you're not attracting the people or life you want, take a moment, pause, don't look outside. Look within. How are you really feeling? How are you treating yourself? What kind of energy are you carrying through your day? You don't have to change everything overnight. Just start small. One positive habit, one loving thought, one honest moment of self-reflection. Every little shift adds up, and before you know it, you're not just attracting better. You've become better, and that's where the magic lies. Because when you feel better, when you really feel better, the world around you starts to reflect that back in ways you never expected, in ways that feel natural and real and right. You attract better because you are better. Not perfect, just more you, and that's more than enough. So, to everyone listening, don't wait for the world to validate you. Validate yourself first, because the moment you start focusing on your own journey, that's when everything starts falling into place. Thank you so much, and remember, you are your biggest project. Keep building it with love.